Every now and then, a performer finds himself in a situation where he must perform. No excuses. Now, the magician can always say, well, I left my props at home, or you wouldn't happen to have a jumbo-sized deck of cards with you, would you? And get out of it that way. But the mentalist can't really claim, well, gee, I left my mind at home. That's not much of an excuse. It may be appropriate in some cases, but it's not an excuse. So you need something to be able to perform almost anytime, anywhere. And if you're lucky, you may get, say, a radio talk show that you're booked on, and you'd like to do something with the general audience at large. Well, this is one of those things. I'm going to teach it to you now. Imagine that you're in a radio audience, all of you, all right? And for this radio audience, let's see, this young gentleman, hi, what's your name?
Carl.
Carl, you can follow instructions, can't you?
Yeah.
Good, thank you, Carl. You'll be our test case here. You'll be the one everyone else will watch. And what we need are several objects. And we'll explain this in a second, but we'll use coins. We'll just put them out on the bench in front of you like this. And the copper coin will be the special one. Okay. All right? So from this point forward, you just follow along as if you were in a radio audience. Fair enough?
Okay.
Thanks. Many of the decisions we make, we're speaking to the radio audience now, many of the decisions we make, we think are absolutely free will, but in fact we have been influenced by others. The sound of my voice can actually influence the decisions that people in the radio audience make. Each person in the radio audience now, please place 5 items in a row in front of you. They can be anything. They can be coins from your pocket, items from the floor, matchbooks, matchsticks. It doesn't really matter except one. One of those items must be special, a keepsake, a memento, a treasured item. In your case, Carl, it will be the copper coin. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, by the way, Carl, for the sake of the lecture, I'm going to ignore you and kind of turn my back as you play along with this. Otherwise, there'd be no mystery. So for the folks in the audience, lay those items out in front of you in a row of 5, and at the rightmost end of the row, the rightmost item will be the important item, the keepsake, the memento, the one you're concentrating on. Now, in a moment, you're going to be exchanging items. Every time you exchange, you will exchange your item, your memento, your important thing, your copper coin, for the item next to it, or the item that's on either side. But you must trade only those 2 items, the item that's important to you and one on either side. Now, I know where everyone's item is right now, and it's important that I know because otherwise my influencing you wouldn't help. I know it's in all the way on the right-hand side. So just for practice, those of you in the radio audience, and Carl, switch right now your item for one next to it. Go ahead, trade their places. You've done that? Take your time, Carl. I get paid by the minute. You've done that, Carl? Yes. All right, now there's still no mystery because I know it's the second one in. That was the only place he could go. But from now on, he has choices. It won't help. I'm influencing. Carl, if you will, look at that important item of yours. Look at the items on either side of it, and now switch your item and an item on either side of it. Just exchange places between the 2. Have you done that?
Yes.
Good, thank you, Carl. Listen to my voice for a moment. Concentrate. See where your item is in the row, and then again, switch your item for one on either side of it. Sounds like you've done that, have you?
Yes.
Those of you in the radio audience, of course, will be following along. Now, Carl, listen to the sound of my voice. Look at your important item and switch your item for the one on either side of it. All right. And now quickly, one more time, one more switch. You've done that. Look at the 5 items on the row in front of you. And Carl, please eliminate the leftmost item. Pull it off the row. The one on the left, all the way on the left. Pull it off. There are only 4 items left. Have you done that?
Yes.
Good. Now concentrate. Look at your important item and switch. You've done that?
Yes.
I still don't get a strong impression from the leftmost end. Please remove the item on the left end of the row again. There are 3 items in the row in front of you, correct?
Yes.
All right. Switch. Good. You're following instructions beautifully and following the influence as well. I have a real good feeling that still the leftmost item is not the important one. Take away the leftmost item now. There are only 2 items remaining, correct?
Correct.
Good. Now make sure your hands are empty. That means you'll have to put the remaining coins in your pocket or on the floor. Reach out with your right and left hands. With your right hand, grasp the rightmost item. With your left hand, grasp the leftmost item. Pick them up, hold them, and then discard the one in your right. The left hand holds the important item, the copper coin. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes! All right. Thank you. This is so easy. Premise is everything in mentalism. If you have an acceptable premise, meaning what you are ostensibly trying to do, if you have an acceptable premise, the audience will go along with you. If you have a flawed premise, they'll eat you alive. Okay? The premise here is that I am influencing with my voice. And I need to know where the items start so I can influence you to make the proper decisions. All right? Now that seems to make sense. All right? It's simply a mathematical thing. There's only one thing you have to remember. Well, actually 3 things. The numbers 5, 1, 1. Not 911, 511. Okay? That means that after the 5 items are laid out in a row, with the rightmost item being the important one, you go through 5 switches. The first one is simply to illustrate. It goes from the end to the second position in from the end. And you explain to the audience, of course I know where it is, but now you have choices. Now we have no clue. But that was the first switch. Go through 4 more for a total of 5 switches. After 5 switches, remove the leftmost item. After 1 switch, 1 more switch, remove the leftmost item. After 1 more switch, remove the leftmost item. You're always pulling away the left. Got it? 5, 1, 1. After 5 switches, remove left. After 1 switch, remove left. After 1 switch, remove left. Then they pick them up, and it'll always be in the left hand. Simple mathematics, no other way around it. I guarantee you, if you do this, as I have done for a radio talk show, a call-in talk show, at least 90 to 95% of the people in the audience will agree that you influenced them and that they came up with exactly the conclusion that you wanted. It will be amazing. And the few who didn't get it, who didn't follow instructions or didn't admit that they were correct, are simply the spice that makes the rest of it seem logical and normal. Okay? This piece was the brainchild of a gentleman in Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska. This man's a professional speaker, a professional trainer. He even teaches trainers how to train using magic. He has videotapes on the market to teach trainers simple magic tricks that they can use in their training situations. He's just a consummate pro. He also put this on a 900 line for a while. Advertise in the psychic papers, test your psychic ability, call into our 900 line. And if you'd like to try it again, call back. And then he rotated through several different similar but different tests, so he could always say, now call back next week, there'll be a new way to test your psychic ability. I suspect he did it more for the fun than for the profit, because I know Dave, and he's not the type of person that would take advantage of others willingly. I think he just wanted to prove a point. Anyway, his name is Dave Arch. He called it Quintuple.